You know that feeling, right? That constant internal tug of war where you feel like, okay, either I have to do everything myself to make sure it's right, or you take a deep breath and try to trust someone else, even though it feels kind of risky.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost universal,
Mhm.
especially for creators, founders, leaders.
Yeah, and it gets way worse when things get noisy and every decision feels huge. Figuring out how to get clear in all that chaos, knowing when to handle it yourself and when to hand it off, that's the real challenge, isn't it?
It really is.
Well, if that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place. Today, we are doing a deep dive into creator flow, the confidence to choose. And this isn't about just, hustling harder. It's about finding a rhythm. The whole idea is to help you move smarter, feel a bit steadier, and just show up more intentionally. This deep dive is presented by D Creator and powered by Howdy Analytics, and it really aims to shift how you think about making decisions.
What's fascinating, I think, is how this whole system is designed to take um, that often chaotic, almost paralyzing feeling around decisions
Yeah.
and turn it into a genuine state of flow, where clarity isn't just a lucky break, it's more like your default setting. It's really about building these repeatable systems that make complex things feel simpler.
Okay, so the confidence to choose, it's actually part 5 of this bigger creator flow series. We've already journeyed through mindset and messaging, then strategy, soul and momentum, mastering meaning and mechanics, and making the right call. Each part built on the last, helping you hone different aspects of finding your own unique creator flow.
Right. And the thread connecting all of them, leading straight to part 5, is this fundamental shift. It's moving away from just reacting to everything coming at you.
Yeah.
And moving towards intentionally designing how you use your energy, how you set up your systems, and ultimately, how you make your decisions. Part 5 is really the payoff of that intentional design. It lets you move with real confidence, whether you're stepping up to lead or empowering someone else.
Exactly. So the big question is, how do we get from that decision paralysis to, like you said, confident, almost easy choices? Creator Flow Part 5 promises to unlock that. And it seems like it starts by looking inward, right? At our own defaults. That's the core focus here, knowing when to DIY and when to delegate.
Yes, its ultimate goal is to be like your personal negotiation compass. Think of it as a guide that helps you lead boldly when you need to be hands-on, but also helps you step back smartly and delegate effectively when that's the better strategic play. It's all about conscious choices, not just falling into old habits.
That sounds incredibly useful. Chapter 1, What This Guide Helps You Achieve, it really zeroes in on finding that optimal mix, your personal sweet spot between control and collaboration, leveraging your own decision-making groove, as it calls it. What does that actually feel like, being in that groove?
Well, when you're really in it, you're naturally blending your emotional intelligence, your gut feelings, your intuition with the hard data, the facts. The guide acts like a psychological compass. It helps you navigate tricky situations because, let's face it, pure logic doesn't always work when emotions run high, and pure intuition can miss the mark without some solid facts to back it up. So it's this dynamic interplay.
Okay, so it's about understanding that quiet battle inside between wanting to take charge and knowing maybe you should let go a bit. The guide helps you pinpoint your baseline style, what you do under pressure, and also your flexibility, like how easily you can shift in your natural rhythm. I find I do that without even thinking about it sometimes.
Exactly. And this is where self-awareness really meets precision. You stop guessing why you're stressed or why something got stuck. You start understanding the patterns. Like maybe you realize you tend to micromanage, but you consciously choose not to because speed matters more this time.
That flows right into Chapter 2. Chart your decision style. Makes sense. Understanding your core style seems critical for keeping things moving smoothly, especially when deadlines loom or things get tense. We all have a default, don't we?
We definitely do. And this chapter introduces these 3 decision personas. They're really insightful. First, you've got the hands-on leader. Very direct, loves the details, great at ensuring quality.
Mhm.
But the downside, they can sometimes over-control things and create bottlenecks.
Okay, I can picture that.
Then there's the hybrid harmonizer. Super flexible, adaptive, good at balancing different viewpoints. The potential issue, sometimes struggles with making a final call or might send mixed signals.
The paralysis of choice.
Right. And third is the delegation driver. They operate on trust, build systems, focus on efficiency and scaling up. The risk here, maybe becoming a bit detached, or the requests aren't quite clear enough if they're not careful.
Those are so recognizable. I can already see bits of myself, depending on the situation. But how does the guide help you actually see which one you lean towards, especially under pressure? And, if you find out you're mostly hands-on, but the project needs you to delegate more, what then? Does it give you practical ways to make that shift?
That's exactly the point. It's not about labeling you and boxing you in. There's a quick assessment to help identify your default. But then, crucially, it provides these mode switches. These are like practical triggers, internal cues, that help you consciously pivot your style when needed. So for that hands-on leader, it might suggest consciously deciding to release control at key handoffs, or setting really clear boundaries on where they won't get involved.
Okay, practical triggers. I like that.
Yeah, and understanding the motivators and frictions helps too. The hands-on leader wants quality but struggles with trust gaps. The hybrid harmonizer loves balance but can get decision fatigue. The delegation driver wants efficiency but might disconnect from the team's, emotional state.
So the beauty is you're not stuck. It's about being intentional about how you lead or manage depending on what's needed.
Precisely. Intentional shifting is the key.
Okay, so you've mapped your internal style. But what about the outside world? The market noise, the constant updates. It can feel overwhelming and make decisions feel like guesswork.
Absolutely. Which is why Chapter 3 immediately pivots to building a real-time market radar.
Mm.
Self-awareness is great, but not if you're, flying blind externally. And it offers really practical, fast-glance tools to cut through that noise. Things like a market snapshot tracker, active inventory, median prices, you see it quickly,
Right.
or a rate pulse notifier. And the advice here is smart. Use 3 sources max, set smart alerts. Don't drown yourself in data.
Right, avoid the daily fire hose.
Exactly. And listen to demand signals. What are buyers actually saying? What are the showing requests telling you? The pro tip is golden. Keep one spreadsheet, update it once a week. Weekly rhythm, not daily panic. That gives you that zoomed out wisdom.
Zoomed out wisdom, I like that. And it mentions a 5-minute clarity drill, a pulse scan, talking point prep, strategic pivot. Sounds quick and useful.
It is. It's designed for calm momentum. It helps you quickly spot trends and prep some concise, client-ready points.
But how does it help you actually use that info in conversations or emails or content?
That's the data-to-dialogue bridge. It shows you how to turn raw data into something actionable. Like the example given. You see rates drop. The thought process is, okay, buyers might feel some urgency now. And the action. Draft a call to action post. Now's your moment. It connects the dots from observation right through to communication.
Makes sense. The chapter also has this signal versus noise checklist. Is it tied to your market, your audience? Does it actually clarify things? Can you act on it in, say, the next week or two? If not, maybe it's just interesting noise. The flow cue is simple. Is this actionable or just interesting?
And let's be real, probably 90% of what hits our feeds is just interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's like scrolling vacation pics when you have a deadline. That checklist, simple as it sounds, is pretty ruthless, but so necessary for focus. Protects your mental energy.
Okay, which brings us nicely to Chapter 4, Team and Task Matrix. This really highlights that clarity isn't just an inside job, it's interpersonal. Miscommunication or just fuzziness about who's doing what, that can totally derail things, often silently. How does the guide help untangle that?
Well, it starts by breaking down all the key players in a typical deal buyer, seller, their agents, inspector, attorney, lender, title company. It outlines what each person contributes, but crucially, it also flags potential friction risks for each role. The flow insight here is spot on. Each of these roles holds a piece of the decision puzzle. When misaligned, complexity multiplies. It's like giving you a map of potential communication breakdowns before they happen.
That's smart, and to prevent those, it offers plug-and-play templates, like a who's doing what, welcome email, and a visual task matrix.
Exactly. That welcome email sets expectations right away. The visual matrix maps out stages, who owns what, key touch points. It just cuts down on confusion and endless email chains.
I can see that being huge.
And it goes deeper, mapping out decision handoffs and collaboration moments as a visual flow. Like, okay, draft the offer, buyer needs to approve, then maybe the inspector flags something. You see the critical points where information needs to flow smoothly. And the pro tip is great. Add time buffers and emotion markers.
Emotion markers, what does that mean?
It means recognizing that some steps are just emotionally heavier for certain people. Like if the inspector flags an issue, that's probably a high emotion moment for the buyer. So you build in maybe a bit more time for discussion, or you plan your communication carefully for that specific step. You're managing the emotional energy, not just the task list.
Wow, that's nuanced. It also talks about pacing and expectation harmonization. Understanding that different players move at different speeds and have different emotional loads.
Precisely. A buyer might have a variable pace, lots of emotion. A lender is often fast-paced, high-intensity because of regulations and timelines. Knowing this helps you manage expectations. The flow tip suggests using a rhythm board with ideal response times. So you're building empathy right into your process.
So it's about managing the human side of collaboration, not just the logistics.
You got it. That reduces friction points massively.
Okay, let's shift to Chapter 5, Emotional Energy Audit. We all know that making constant decisions takes a toll. That fatigue really clouds your judgment. I think everyone's felt that midweek fog where even simple choices feel heavy.
It's so common. And this chapter tackles it directly. It gives you these guided prompts for quick mindset checks. Simple questions like, where do I feel mentally slow or foggy right now? Or what conversation or decision am I kind of avoiding?
Ah,
And the key insight is, journaling isn't the goal awareness is. It's not about writing essays, just a quick, honest check-in, spotting when your tank might be low.
and it doesn't just leave you hanging with the awareness, right? It offers reset rituals for real-life flow. Short ones.
Yeah, super short, like 1 or 2 minutes. There's a breathwork snap using the 4-7-8 method. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. Great for just releasing tension quickly.
Okay, I know that one. Simple but effective.
And the 5 sense grounding. A 60-second reset where you just quickly name things you can see, touch, hear, smell, taste. This just pulls you back into the present moment. Surprisingly grounding, as the name suggests.
Grounding. Literally. Nice.
What's really insightful is the idea of mapping energy leaks. These aren't always big blowouts. They're subtle drains. Things like decision fatigue, where you're just mentally exhausted from choosing, or boundary blur, work creeping into personal life, or overfunctioning, doing way more than is actually needed. And the flow reminder here is really empowering. You don't need to solve leaks, just spot them.
Ah, okay, so just noticing is the first step.
Exactly. Awareness itself builds resilience. Recognizing the leak means you can consciously address it later, instead of letting it drain you unnoticed.
Got it. And that brings us to the final chapter, Chapter 6, Hybrid Action Framework. This sounds like where it all comes together. The creator's power move.
That's how it's framed. It's about expertly balancing that control-delegate dynamic to avoid burnout on one side and brand drift or things going off track on the other.
So what does hybrid action actually look like day to day?
It means intentionally weaving DIY moments and delegation moments together within a single project or campaign. It introduces the SMART timeline, where review points aren't just deadlines, they're emotional checkpoints. Moments to pause and check in, not just on progress, but on your energy and alignment too. Are things still feeling right?
Okay, checking alignment, not just ticking boxes.
Right. And it details these DIY versus delegate mode switches. These are triggered by specific cues, like you notice your mental bandwidth dip or your vision gets vague or maybe the team gets stuck. These are signals to potentially shift modes.
And the tip is to predefine these switches, so you know ahead of time, if X happens, I switch. Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you're that hands-on leader writing a key proposal. Your predefined mental bandwidth dip switch might be, if I hit hour 3 on this draft and it still feels messy, switch to delegate. Send it to the copywriter with my core points.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or if your vision gets vague on planning a new marketing campaign, that's the cue to switch to delegate mode for brainstorming. Bring in your strategist or bounce ideas off the team instead of struggling alone. It stops you from grinding inefficiently.
It builds in escape hatches, almost. Proactive ones.
Exactly. And it guides you on staying intentional without micromanaging. Define success clearly, set communication tone triggers, use a what's worth it scan.
Tell me about that scan. What's worth it?
It's basically a quick weekly check-in. Zoom out and ask, are the things I'm spending my time on truly aligned with my highest value contributions and the overall vision? It's a filter against getting lost in urgent but unimportant tasks. Keeps you focused.
And this all culminates in a rhythm board.
Yeah. Think of it like your personal command center, a living document. It holds your flow cues, your DIY delegate triggers, your ideal work rhythm, your go-to reset rituals, communication preferences. It turns your whole strategy into a kind of self-regulating ecosystem you learn to intuitively adjust.
Wow. Okay. And to make all this practical, there are bonus resources too.
Yes, a whole suite of them. Things like decision persona flashcards, quick reminders, a data snapshot template for your market radar, a collaboration scripting guide for those tricky conversations, an emotional reset toolkit with those quick techniques, and a negotiation prep checklist. They're like mini tools designed for maximum clarity right when you need them.
Mini tools, maximum clarity. I like that. Okay, so wrapping this up, Creator Flow Part 5, the confidence to choose really seems to be about building a robust system for making decisions, one that feels intentional, repeatable, and resilient. It blends psychology, clarity, and accountability into a rhythm you can actually rely on.
Absolutely. And what that means for you listening right now is feeling genuinely prepared. Whether the right move is to lead boldly and be hands-on, or to delegate smartly using well-designed systems. This approach helps turn your strategy from just a plan on paper into a living, breathing, self-regulating ecosystem.
So what does this all mean for you? Here's a little challenge. Think about one specific area in your work, your decision making, where you could apply this DIY versus delegate idea this week. Is there a point of friction, a task you always put off, or a decision you overthink? How could you use these ideas to turn that friction into a moment of, well, flow and confidence? Just one small shift.
Thanks for tuning in to Creator Flow, the confidence to choose. This deep dive was brought to you by D-Creator, powered by Hadi Analytics.
And remember, your best decisions really do blend intuition, clarity, and good systems.
Stay in flow, lead with intention, and we'll see you next time.